Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We have a new government in Syria, and the new government was formed by the new president of Syria. The new president of Syria was not elected. He appointed himself, he took power with the help of outside forces, and he, we are told, is a reformed jihadist. In this video, I will discuss the new government in Syria and why I predict Syria will disintegrate soon. I think Syria will have the same fate Yugoslavia had and Czechoslovakia. I will use the Haitian genocide from 1806, 1804 as an example of how Syria will disintegrate, who will benefit out of Syria's disintegration, collapse, and I will also talk about the US's future disintegration based on the same model. Diversity is our strength, and we have oppressors and victims. With this kind of mentality is the recipe of a civil war, wherever you plant it. So let's start with the Syrian government, which was formed by this reformed, as I said, reformed jihadist. Now, here it is. This comes from Sputnik, and Syria announces new government. What has changed? Key ministers, including the foreign and defense ministers, retain their posts in the new transitional government of Syria. It includes only one woman. How many homosexuals? Transgender? Midgets? Cyclops? Fat? Blue-eyed? They don't care. Why? Because some people tell us that we should not be focused on that kind of diversity. Former opposition politician Hind Kabawat, who became the Minister of Social Affairs and Labor, Syrian news agency reported. So, on Saturday evening, the ministers of the new government were sworn in at the People's Palace in Damascus. All right, so this is the reformed jihadist, dressed in a suit, with nice combed gelled hair, with trimmed beard, looks fit to me to do a lot of physical activity, workout, So, I have a problem with this from very many reasons. The first one is this. If you have a rapist and he says he reformed, he reformed, man, he's not one of them anymore. Wouldn't you want to find out if he was punished for his actions, even though he says he's reformed? If not, you do an injustice to the victims, don't you? So I guarantee you this reformed jihadist, he committed a lot of physical activity, right? And maybe not. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe he just gave orders, okay? Like Adolf or like Mandela, all right? Maybe he didn't do it himself, but he ordered certain things. Oh, you ask, what am I talking about? Mandela? Well, Mandela was part of a faction of a certain kind of movement that ordered certain buses in South Africa to be, all right, the fighter for the equality and all that. He was not arrested, Mandela, because he was a fighter against, no, he was arrested for terrorism. Go and check it out. If you don't like it, well, maybe if you read about it, then you would say, well, that's truth, and truth is not about liking it or not, it's still there. Now, let's go to this guy. So he's a reformed one. Now, that's the way I see this reformed guy. This reformed guy, probably in the future, Jesus Christ, in the past, committed certain things. He's reformed. His ideology of is no more. But was he tried for any actions that he, in the name of his former, he now was tried? Now he's the judge. Let's say he's a rapist who's now never convicted of any, but, right? And he now is a judge, being in charge of the rape cases. Why? Now, he is self-appointed or appointed by the lovers of democracy, which is interest. And you know who appointed this guy or allow him to be over there? The interests that are not attacked. Oh, meow meow, look at you, brought that something over there. Well, my cat is very strong. This is what the cat brought to play with. Look at this. Strong meow meow. Go and play. There you go. All right. So where were we? We are at this judge that used to be yeah, kill that shit. Yeah, meow meow. Yeah, do it. God damn it. Yeah. There you go, meow meow. All right. So this is my problem with these guys who are not affected by the new changes that tell me that they were behind all this. That's why they're not attacked. The Russian base in Tartus will be removed probably sooner or later because the Russians were not behind all this. Because the Russians supported the dictator Bashar al-Assad. And this guy is their boy. Remember, the United States of America. Maybe I should put the microphone on. What do you think? Microphone. So, the United States of America overthrew and supported dictators and tyrants. Go and check it out. And they didn't have any problem with them as long as they followed orders. And they did. This guy so far follows orders. That's why he is allowed to be the interim president. All right, interim president. For how long? I suspect now that this guy will not stay long in power because, as I said, I think this country will disintegrate. But let's read the article, right? Here. On Saturday, ex-prime minister did trululu. Okay, next article. Russia Today. Syrian leader announces new government. The new 23-member cabinet has been formed 4 months after the ouster of former President Bashar al-Assad. So, Syrian leader Ahmed al-Shara, this is the reformed, has announced the formation of a new 23-member transitional government in a bid to unify the war-torn country following the ouster of former president. The cabinet includes representatives from various ethnic and religious backgrounds. That means diversity is our strength, like United States of America. The problem is certain ethnic and religious backgrounds do not like one another whatsoever, and some of them consider others as being the oppressors, and they consider themselves as victims. Therefore, when they get the power, they will do a Haiti 18-0, let me see, Haiti 8, let's get that clear, right? Haiti, all right, that's what it is, 1804, got it? Go and read it out, all right? And it's called right here, was carried out by Afro-Haitian soldiers, mostly former slaves. All right, let's move on, 1804. So in a speech on Saturday, this guy, the leader of the jihadist group, which played a key role in Assad's downfall, described the new government as one of, and listen to this baboonish for the baboons statements, change and construction that bears the people's aspirations and hopes for a bright and sustainable future. Now, a lot of garbage in this one. All these are general terms that will bring unity. That means we all are for change, but my change is different than Barack Obama's change, I guarantee you that. His change is this way, my change is this. So we have different visions, but we try to gather people under our umbrella with change. Vote for me, I get in power, and then I'm going to look for the groups that oppressed me. Now, that's the end construction. That means we're going to build everything for my hope. My hope is mine. And Barack Obama will construct his whatever for his hope. And then he says, the people's aspiration. My aspiration could be different than your aspiration, I guarantee you that. Remember, a rapist aspiration is different than another person's aspirations. So imagine that guy, from that I just mentioned, being the president. His aspirations and his hope will be much different than your hope and your aspirations. But he wants us to work towards his hope, constructing his hope and aspiration, bright for him, but dark for us. The people's aspirations and hopes for the bright and sustainable future. What does it mean sustainable? That means we support that guy to stay in power forever. Sustain him. That's why we have to, and they tell us, he's telling the Syrian people what they need to do. We are certain that hard work, that your hard work, your dedication, and your cooperation among all of you will be the key of achieving these goals. Yeah, that means You just take it easy, shut the hell up, work together to fulfill the hope, my goals, my bright future. You don't think that's the way it is? He is a reformed jihadist, for God's sake. But he is independent. Do you think he's independent? I don't think he's independent. But then why the promoters of democracy will not do anything about it? I tell you why. Because he's following orders. And the orders, I think, will be this country needs to be broken in pieces to benefit one entity in the Middle East, mostly. That's Israel. All right? So let's see who's part of the government. Multiple diverse ethnic background and religious background. The new cabinet features notable appointments as Hind Kabawat, the only woman in the government, and Christian advocate for interfaith tolerance and female empowerment. I am for equality of opportunities and not for discrimination. The discrimination should be only in abilities. Can you do this? No. Get the fuck out. Get the person who can do this. I discriminate against people who cannot do stuff. Go and train. Go and get better. When you get better, you're going to compete. And I will pick and discriminate weak, strong, dumb, smart. This is how I'm going to do it. So I discriminate. Obviously for strength, knowledge, courage, not for weakness, tolerance, and being, how do you call it now? Empathy. These are the new values that you, losers, are supposed to internalize in order for us to have a sustainable future in charge of you. That's my vision, okay? Or my vision, my assessment of reality. So she is the first woman. Good, good, good. How many midgets you got over there? How many homosexuals you got over there? How many transgender you got over there? And how many people with blue eyes? How many fat people? No, because they dictate what groups we should be caring for and what group we should not care for. Who's they? Well, who appointed them? All right. It also includes this guy, an Alawite or Alawite, I don't know how we would pronounce that, who will lead the transportation, a member of the Druze community. The Alawites and Druze are minority religious groups that are offshoots of Islam, making up 12 to 3% of Syrian population respectively. Alawites were generally in favor of Assad's role. So these are former oppressors, while the Druze have tended to be neutral. And we got some other guy here who's a member of, let me see who else we got over here. Autonomous. Now, the government will not have a prime minister, nor include members, so they excluded members of the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces or the autonomous civil administration in northern Syria. Why? These guys will have their country first. And they're not included. Why are not included? I thought they are unifying. No, that's not the point. The formation of the transitional government comes after the collapse of this, All right. So, why do I think these guys will break apart? Diversity is not a strength, my friends, in this case, because especially when you have different groups with different traditions, different worldviews. Yes, the Romanians see the world different than the people in Zimbabwe. I guarantee you that. We have slightly different things. Now, good or bad as they are, they're different. That's why in Yugoslavia, the experiment after the First World War, you remember Yugoslavia, after the First World War, made out of the Croats, people from Montenegro, people from Serbia, from Slovenia. All these guys came together with the Bosniaks and so on. They were put together, and they decided that they don't want to be together because we want to be with our people and you can be with your people. And the same thing the guys in Czechoslovakia did. And remember, in Yugoslavia, it was you are the oppressors, we are the victims. Who are the oppressors? The Serbs. Who said that? Well, again, we can say it. In the United States of America. Why United States of America will disintegrate? Because you have this ideology spread here by the guys who think that they still handle, divide and impera, divide and conquer and rule. They think that they can have the groups at each other's throat. And sometimes they have them. And they put them together. What do you think will happen? They will start fuck one another. So in this case, you have a group. And not only, actually, we have one group designated as the historical oppressor in this country, United States of America. And you have other groups that are the victims. Well, when the guys will decide that the victims will be given, through tolerance and allies, the power, what do you think these guys will do to the perceived oppressors? Let me give you a hint. Clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop. Okay, you got the hint. So I think that's what's going to happen. The problem is the guys who think they're going to have the power will be harnessed by the guys who orchestrated all this. Okay, and what do you think will happen? At one point, based on some ideologies, they will end, how should I put it, some kind of propaganda, regimentation, where you see those guys being your oppressors since childhood, and you look at them and say, these guys, my failures are only due to this kind of oppressors who keep me down still in 2025. When you get the power, you go with the help of the allies. The allies are deluded people belonging to the oppressing group, right? Who think that they will be somehow forgiven. They are social justice, fat fucks with pink hair. And okay, so these guys will think that they will be part of the help these guys. When these guys are going to come in power, they will take care of that group. I'm not going to give you the hint again. Beep, 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 beep. And then after they take care of that group, that's in the name of justice. Now they want tolerance until we get the power. When we get the power, they want to switch. Okay, we have tolerance. Thank you very much. We got in power now. Let's distribute justice. That is retribution, payback. And they will use these baboons, take care of these guys, and then we're going to use the allies. And then the allies will be Haiti 1804 last. But they will be. Why? Because they belong to the oppressing group. Let me tell you a little story of Napoleon Bonaparte. Supposedly, Napoleon Bonaparte said this: all women are whores. That's what he said, allegedly, except my mother and my sister. But, he said, we should not forget that they are also women. So, with the allies and their group, they will say, well, all these guys in this group are the oppressors. History proves that. Except the allies. But we should not forget that the allies are also part of that group. Therefore, and in Syria is going to be the same thing. Syria will be disintegrating itself based on these groups thinking that they got the power. They will not be able to rule themselves. And if they're going to try to rule themselves, they will give an autonomy, and there's going to be a lot of diversity is our strength. In the United States of America, I predict this kind of thing will come, 1804 will come. If they continue doing what they do with the ideology of we are the victims, everything that we fail is because of them, and they are the oppressors. But somehow the oppressors are allowing the victims to rule over them. I mean, why? Because you have the allies. In Syria, it's going to be the same thing. Yugoslavia was, Czechoslovakia was, and US will be. If these guys don't wake up, it's a little bit late, but wake up, what does it mean? Stop promoting this kind of imbecilic ideology. We are the victims and we are oppressed by these guys and so on. But they will not. Why? You have bigger interest. You have people who really harness this. The victims here, and the same, the victims in Haiti, the slaves and the former slaves, had the opportunity to do what they did with the French white population over there, because they were allowed by the allies, by the French. Without that, they wouldn't have done shit. The same here. These guys are, oh, let them do this, let them do that, and then they promote, and in the same time, the media and Hollywood portrays the same idiocracy. You are the victim. Payback. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.